What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Yes, it's your girl Tanya Marie coming to you again here. Yes, with another one, y'all. Have you heard about Paul George from the Sixers, honey? Suspended and fitting to lose millions of dollars from this suspension? Yeah, y'all. So we're gonna get into it, okay? So what happens when one decision, one pill, one mistake costs millions, y'all? Millions of dollars, because this isn't just about Paul George missing games. This is about money, power, and a franchise suddenly walking a financial tightrope. That's right, y'all. So let's start with Paul George himself, okay? 25 games he's been suspended from. He's not going to be able to play not one single game. And the catcher is no pay. Y'all know these here basketball players get these guaranteed contracts, honey. But with him messing around and breaking the drug policy, honey, he loses all of that guaranteed money, right? So no pay, suspended for 25 games. Now, with that suspension, that's going to cost Paul George, wait for it, y'all, 11,742,000, okay, and 93 cents. Yeah, that's right, y'all. Yeah, almost $12 million. Almost $12 million. Can y'all believe that? Poof, gone. It's not going to be delayed to where they say, oh, well, you know what? We're going to run you that $12 million, after the 25 game suspension. It's not deferred. Well, we're just going to, break it down in monthly deposits to you. Just completely gone, y'all. He's going to miss out on almost $25 million. That's right, y'all. That's almost $470,000 per games. Okay, right. He won't play. And yes, now don't get us wrong now. He is financially secure. All right, he is a multimillionaire. And he did sign a 4-year max deal. But baby, $12 million, whether you're a multimillionaire or not, still hits hard. Okay? Now, because max contracts, they come with expectations, right? You know these teams, they expect a lot for this here money. Okay? They want leadership. They want you to be available. And they want reliability. And Paul George is not offering any of that with this here 25 game suspension, right? Okay? And right now, the Sixers are paying max money for a player who won't even touch the floor until the 10 final games of the season. Now, that ain't no great investment. Right? Now, here's where it gets a little interesting, and honestly, it's a little cold in the game. It's a little chilly out here, right, baby? It's ice cold. Now, while Paul George is losing money, the Sixers will be saving it. There's a little catch to the suspension, y'all. So Philadelphia will receive a luxury tax variance credit of $5.87 million due to the suspension. That's right, y'all. They're going to receive a credit. Now, that credit moves from roughly $7 million over the luxury tax to just 1.26 million dollars over, right? Now that amount changes everything. Now, so they got implications with luxury tax in the NBA. So in the NBA, being over the luxury tax isn't just expensive, baby, it's punitive. Every dollar over the line multiplies, and repeat offenders get hit even harder, right? So before the suspension, dodging the tax would have meant sacrificing a real rotation player. But now, Paul George then put this on a silver platter for him, right? The Sixers can potentially get under the tax by moving a non-rotation contract, a little small deal, a minor tweak, and suddenly the front office have leverage, y'all, right? Okay? Paul George's absence doesn't just change the lineup, it changed the math, okay? And here's the uncomfortable part, right? Many of the front office hope that the team doesn't prioritize ducking the tax, right? Hopefully, with a great player like Paul George, they won't prioritize ducking this tax. Hopefully, they won't do that, right? But that was before this happened, before the money shifted, before the margin shrink. Now the question becomes, do the Sixers stay aggressive, or do they quietly let these suspensions solve a financial problem? Right? Okay? Did they stay aggressive to make sure that they get the best players they can on the court, right? Or they say, hey, you know what? We could be saving us a little bit of coin, huh? Right? But it doesn't stop there. After the fifth game of the suspension, Paul George can be moved to the suspended list, which means, right, for the final 20 games of the ban, he won't count towards the 15-man roster, right? That opens up a temporary roster spot. Another subtle financial advantage for the Sixers, right? Another layer of flexibility. So while fans see a star sideline, the front office sees tax relief, roster flexibility, and trade line deadline options, right? They can see trade deadline options. Okay? It's a cold business out here in this basketball world, baby. It really is a cold business, but business nonetheless, right? Now, and remember, this is year one of a 4-year max contract that was signed in 2024. A deal that has not really gone smoothly, right? Not from the beginning. Last season, played with injuries. This season, loaded management, right? Persistent knee injuries, knee issues, and now a suspension due to the league's drug policy. It's not looking good for Paul George, right? Injuries, knee problems, and now you're talking about drug policy issues. They're not looking good at all, right? Now, the Sixers didn't just lose games, they lost momentum, all right, on an investment they hope will push them into contention, right? When they pay these big top dollars, they are really, really looking for someone to pay off on that investment, and this ain't paying off, y'all. Now, financially, the Sixers may survive this, right? Competitively, now that's another story, right? They are 6th in the East and right on the edge of the play-in tournament, right? Every loss matters at this point, right? Every loss matters. Every absent compounds. It counts. It really does count. And while Paul George will return for the final 10 games, these games may be all about survival, right? Not positioning. They'll just be trying to survive at that point because they really, really need him. So the suspension isn't just about headlines. It's about $11.7 million out of Paul George's pocket, nearly $6 million back into the Sixers' books, and a franchise suddenly choosing between compassion, competition, and financial realty. Okay? One mistake, two very different financial outcomes for both Paul George and the Sixers. This was an interesting story, y'all. So let me ask y'all a question, right? Even though Paul George is going to be losing the $12 million, do you think in some parts and some ways financially the Sixers are going to come up on a good deal in this, right? He's been plagued with injuries, right? Now he's got this drug policy suspension, right? Hey, you know what? We can rotate another person in his spot, right? So we can save money and we can rotate somebody in his spot at the same time. So do y'all think the Sixers is getting a good deal out of a bad situation? Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know. Also, we're going to lift up prayers for Paul George as well. He did make comments saying that he was battling mental health issues. and that instead of him going through the right channels, going through his doctors, he made a bad mistake that cost him this suspension. So we're going to keep him lifted up in prayers as well as he's battling mental health issues to where he's gravitating towards certain type of drugs to alleviate those mental health issues. But keep them lifted, y'all. Keep them lifted. All right, y'all. Well, again, my name is Tanya Marie here with Bold One for Life, where we want you to be unique, be different, but most importantly, just be you. Thank you so much for always coming on in the room and blessing your girl with your presence. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all. Ta for now.